YouTube. Welcome to Peaceful Viking Travels. My name is Nick and I am the Peaceful Viking. Sitting here just west of Albuquerque. As you can see, I'm at the Route 66 Casino and Travel Center. The casino and the hotel are closed, but the truck stop part of it continues to be open. I've never stopped here. Talked to a lot of guys who have. The reason I stopped here is I had a lot of time on the load that I'm on. I took a load of beer out of Chico, California on Friday afternoon, headed for Albuquerque. It was an open appointment on Tuesday the 21st. An open appointment just means, you know, they'll set it usually once you get rolling. Once you pick the load up, they'll set your appointment. They didn't set this appointment until this morning, and they set it for 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. So I could have feasibly probably delivered this load either last night or early this morning, but things have slowed down a little bit, so there's a little extra time on it. Just kind of want to give you guys all a heads up on kind of what's going on business-wise, and what's going on for my next couple moves. Business-wise, things have slowed down a lot. A lot of the meat processing plants in this country have kind of closed down due to just they've got too many workers that are sick with COVID-19, and that's a good thing. I'm glad they're closing them down and not trying to just, you know, work the people who are healthy to death. But it slowed down our freight a lot. I would say probably 10 days ago. Things had been running pretty normal up till that point, and then things kind of slowed down astronomically. I was never used to sitting more than, after delivering a load, I would usually already know what my next load was. It got from that to, you know, sitting 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, now 24. You know, so you might have to sit a day or two to get a load, which is really, really unusual. Typically speaking, I run anywhere from 3 to 4 loads a week is what I shoot for, which keeps me very profitable and makes me the money I need to make. Last week, I ran 1 load. I had an opportunity to run a second load, and after I picked it up, it had an open appointment on Wednesday of this week in Denver. And when they set that appointment, instead of setting it for Wednesday, they set it for the 28th, which was 2 weeks from the day I picked it up. Obviously, I'm not going to sit on a load for 2 weeks. So my fleet manager had me take that load to Salt Lake City and drop it off, which is what I did. And I sat another 24 hours there in Salt Lake City, waiting to get a load out of Utah. So I got a load out of Ogden, and it went to Nevada. And it was like basically a 1-day load that I had 2 days to deliver. So I sat a little bit more. And that was when I think I showed some of you on Facebook. I showed you the Bonneville Salt Flats. I'd never stopped there. There's a rest area you can stop at and walk right out on the salt flats. And that was kind of cool. So I was excited to do that. Grew up as a kid watching, you know, the land speed records be set out there, and it was kind of neat to think you can just walk out there. So I did that, and then delivered that load in Nevada, and got my next load that afternoon. Or actually, I got kind of pre-planned on that one. That one came kind of quick, and it was a good load. I had to deadhead, which means I drove with an empty trailer to the shipper in Chico, California to pick up what I have now, and I'll be delivering tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. So business has kind of slowed down. The week that I only had 1 load in, I was negative. You should never be negative if you're not going home. And, you know, to be negative on a week where I was still out working all week, that was kind of discouraging. But I also, having experienced a little bit of that when I first got the truck, I know that I can recover from that. I wasn't astronomically negative, so as long as I get a good weekend this week, it'll make up for it. If I go more than probably 1 or 2 weeks, or probably 2 or 3 weeks, without being profitable, then we'll have to look at another option as to whether I park the truck and take some home time, because there's no sense in being out here working 70, 80, 90 hours a week if you're not going to make any money. At that point, the only people who are making money is the company. You're making your truck payment, you're paying all your all of your fixed costs, and you're buying fuel, and then you're not making any money. And I'm not about that life, so we're not going to continue to do that. So we're going to, either things are going to have to change, here in the next week or two, or we'll have to consider some other options. That being said, though, it's been great. Not bragging, not boasting, none of that. I'm making more money now than I ever have in my life. And I'm proud of it. I can't even tell you the last time I had a surplus of money that wasn't already spoken for some sort of bill. Being able to just call and pay your bills without looking at your bank account is an amazing feeling. It has taken a ton of stress off of me. Yes, I stay out a lot in the truck, but I'm just living van life out of a big truck. This is what I like to do. I love to travel. I love the places I'm seeing. I run out west almost exclusively. So I'm Washington, Oregon, Idaho, California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico. That's my gravy. That's where I like to be. It's beautiful every day. You're seeing sights that you can't see I'm a Midwestern boy. We're not used to seeing mountains, snow-capped mountains and rivers and streams that are so clear you can see clear to the bottom of them. Not used to that. So I'll keep taking all that. It is everything that I wanted from trucking, I am getting from trucking. I love it more than anything I've ever done in my life. I was called to do this. I followed some family influence into it. And I don't regret it. That being said, next step is we're going to share this with somebody else. I didn't think after 9 months of trucking that I would be ready to be a trainer. And I had said that to both of my trainers. During training, I was learning stuff at such a fast pace. You were learning so much stuff every day. And that doesn't stop. I got done with training and I continue to learn stuff every day. It's one of the reasons I'm on the phone with my trainer every day, because there is always questions I can ask him. There's always things to learn, and he is constantly continuing to train me. So, I am ready, and I'm excited to do it. I didn't think I would be. There's some apprehensiveness there. You're going to put somebody in the seat of a truck that I got to pay for. If he wrecks it, he's not only wrecking, my truck, but my business stops. But I think it's important that we share this with people. I think it's important that we train people properly. I believe that the better training people get, the better our fleet gets, the better my company does, the more money I make. And I'm about that. Wilson Logistics gave me a try, and they trained me well, and I'm gonna spread that on to somebody else. And I really hope to get somebody who is going to use this to change their life, because it changed mine. So the first week of May, I got about 2 weeks now. I'm going to head to Springfield, and I'm going to take their Train the Trainer course, and we're going to leave out of Springfield with a trainee. And I'm going to do the D-seat training to start with. D-seat training is the people who have they've just left home. They come to Springfield, they do orientation, they pass a drug test, they've got their permit, and they come out in the truck with us, and we teach them how to pass the CDL test, along with kind of indoctrinating them into the trucking lifestyle. So I'm excited to do that. There is financial benefits to doing it. As a D-seat trainer, I get $300 a week for the 2 weeks that they're in my truck. The first week's usually prorated. And then if they pass that CDL test the first try, I get $800. If they have to take it a second try, I think I get $250. Some students aren't allowed a third try. Others are. At that point, I don't make any money off of that part of it. But we're going to shoot for first-time passes. Both of my trainers taught me how to back pretty well, and I feel I do a really good job at it. So I'm going to use the techniques that Robert and Carlos taught me to teach to the next student, to make it easy for them to back. And we're just gonna, if it's slow like it is now, we're gonna have a lot of time to practice. So we're gonna use that time to our advantage. We're gonna make sure the student passes first try. So I'm excited about it. I've been spending a lot of the downtime I've had lately getting the truck ready for that student. I had the truck set up for me and just me, and I kind of like it that way. But I'm moving some things around. I want my student to be comfortable. That was something that when I got on the truck with Robert, he was about to get a new truck. So, you know, I was never not comfortable in Robert's truck, except that it was August in Texas and it was really hot. But Carlos was really, you know, he was really into like, be comfortable. You know what I mean? Hey, here's where the bottled waters are. Here's some soups over here if you get hungry. You know, he just made me comfortable. And when you're comfortable and relaxed, you tend to learn a whole lot more. When you're nervous and your anxiety is up, you're not absorbing the information. And there is so much information coming at you so fast. A couple of my biggest fears with getting into trucking was, number one, being in the truck with another man for 2 to 3 months. I have OCD. I like things clean, organized, everything in its place all the time. And I thought that was going to be a problem. I got lucky, and both of my trainers were very clean. They kept the truck neat and tidy. And so I didn't have that issue. And then I was also, the second thing I was worried about is being able to sleep in the truck while it's moving down the road. I've never been able to sleep in any vehicle sitting up, for one, let alone it moving down the road, ever, my whole life. When I was a little kid, I probably slept in the car a little bit when I was on trips with my grandparents, but not something I've ever, I'm a control freak. I had a hard time with that. But I'm going to tell you what, after spending 10 hours in this seat and absorbing all the information a trainer's throwing at you, when it was time for me to crawl up in that, you know, in the bunk and go to sleep, not a problem. I slept hard, so that I could get up and do it again the next day. And I did that for 3 months, and it's hard. Anybody who tells you that truck driving is easy, they have no clue. Driving a truck is easy. Driving a truck is really easy. Especially the trucks now, they're all automatic, ABS. They've got lane departure warnings. They got a radar on the front that'll stop you before you hit stuff. Trucks are easy to drive. That's the easy part of the job, though. That's not the hard part of the job. The hard part of the job is managing your time, because everything has to be logged into this computer that sits to my right here. One of the things I did to get the truck ready was where Wilson Logistics or Peterbilt or whoever has decided to mount these Qualcomms in these trucks makes it almost impossible to have a passenger. I ordered some parts from Amazon and was able to relocate my Qualcomm, and not an issue anymore. My student will be comfortable sitting over there in that seat, or a lot of times I'm going to be sitting in that seat while he's driving the truck or she's driving the truck. So I'm working on getting the truck ready for that student, and making that student comfortable. I've cleared out some space up top in one of the cubbies, so that student will have an entire cubby all for themselves where they can put their belongings and know that's their cubby. You know what I mean? It's a confined space with another person, and you gotta work at making that a comfortable situation, especially somebody who's not used to living in a small space. I feel like van life, it's almost a cheat. I almost cheated my way into trucking because it's so similar. The way I live now is when I was living in the truck. It was almost a cheat. And the only big difference is I make a whole bunch more money. Other than that, the lifestyle's the same. So that's the next stage. And I think my channel is going to kind of gear towards more of that training. I'm hoping to get a student that is okay with being filmed. Maybe not directly. I may not have them talk to the camera a lot, but film them while they're backing, so you can see kind of some of the things that they need to go through and how I train them. Because I hope it'll bring more students to Wilson Logistics. I hope it'll improve trainers. And maybe some of the ways that I was taught other trainers aren't using. Maybe they are. I don't know. I can only speak by my experience. So that's gonna be the next step in trucking. Next step in my personal life is we're getting really close to where I'm gonna have the opportunity to buy my off-grid homestead land. It's been a long time since I owned a piece of America. And I'm excited to own. I'm excited to own a chunk of America for me. And I'm going to do it in an area where I can do with it what I want to do with it. We're going to build a cabin, and it's going to run off solar and wind energy, and we're going to do rainwater collection for water. I'm so excited. When you have dreams and then you start doing the work that makes them a reality, there's no better feeling. This is getting the van and building the van and living in the van. That was a 7-year dream I had, and I did it. Becoming a truck driver, that was since I was a little boy. And then when I was living in the van, I decided, you know what? You've already conquered one dream, go conquer another one. So I did it. And it was the best thing I've ever done for myself. And so the next phase of that is building my off-grid homestead. I want a place that my kids can come and experience the outdoors in the outdoors. Not in a campground, like where we can hunt and fish and chop wood and do all the kinds of things that people did hundreds of years ago that made them not reliant on the government. I'm excited about that. My ideas have always been to be ready for the next, great apocalypse. So bring it on. This one didn't scare me, and I'm feeling healthy, and everything's going well. Changing up my eating habits a little bit. Decided that this week that I was not happy with the way my eating and this lifestyle is hard on you physically, because you eat and then you sit, and then you eat and then you sit. And so I've started taking more walks. I've changed what I'm eating. And I know what I need to do to get back where I need to be, so we're going to start doing that. But it's been great, man. It's even with business slowing down and the money getting a little bit, tighter, it's still been great. I love it every day. And it's become like my norm. It used to be every day I woke up and was like, you had to think about everything you had to do for that day, and now it's becoming, I understand how I used to be amazed at my trainer, Robert Compton. He would wake up and I was amazed he would wake up before me because I was so excited to go every day, but he'd have a cup of coffee and he just has a routine. And you do that routine and you just keep doing it. And this just gets easier and easier and easier. And so I just wanted to shoot you guys a video while I had some downtime and tell you all I'm doing well. And I hope all of you are doing well. I hope you've made the preparations you need to be successful at home. I do feel bad for all the kids that are graduating from high school and not getting graduations. My nephew Anthony, to work that many years to walk across that stage and then not get to do it. My heart goes out to you. Hope he reaches out to me. I might reach out to him pretty soon, because I'm proud of that kid, man. He's a good kid. And there's a whole nother generation of my family that's coming up. This week I got some video calls from the Viking nieces. Me and Macy played some messenger games on FaceTime. That was a lot of fun. And then they all called me and we all had a group phone call, and that was cool. I love those girls to death. They keep me motivated. They keep me remembering that, I'm not alone out here. I got family. I just got to pick up the phone and call them. So far everything's going good. Just wanted to shoot you guys a quick video. You guys have a great day. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down there and I'll check it out later. And talk to you later. Peaceful Vikings out.